Hey guys, welcome back to the Color Me Pink channel. Today we're going to spill the tea on your favorite reality TV stars. Today we're going to dive into the chaos that has erupted over there on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Leaks, honey, corrupt behavior have been causing major drama, and I am here to expose it all right? But before we get into the nitty-gritty details, let me do a quick introduction to the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast. We have Teresa Guidice, Jennifer Aydin, Jackie Goldschneider, Margaret Joseph, Dolores Catania, Rachel Fuda, Danielle Cabral, Melissa Gorga, and Jen Fessler. This group of fierce and fabulous women, y'all, always keep us entertained with their lifestyles and their fiery personalities. But behind the glitz and glamour of it all, there has been a lot of drama brewing. The problem at hand is the impact of leaked stories and corrupt behavior on the relationships and reputations of the RHONJ cast. You know, being on a reality show, an ensemble reality show at that, trust is essential in a tight-knit group. And when secrets start spilling out, it can tear the show apart, the women apart, as we see with what's happening this season with us not getting a cast trip nor a reunion. You know, the constant speculation and backstabbing has created a toxic environment that has been hard to navigate. And recently, a blogger by the name of Melissa's Old Nose, which was a Twitter and Instagram account that was a Teresa and Jennifer Aydin stan account. Like she constantly went against Margaret Josephs and Melissa Gorga and anybody from that other side. And she has recently come out with receipts and information on how she was brought into the fold with Jennifer and Teresa and all of the nasty, conniving things that they put her up to doing and things that she willingly did. And she has backed it up with proof. So let's take a look at her interview with Behind the Velvet Rope, where she details all the tea. You guys will be getting my natural reaction. All right, let's get into it.
How did this all start? Like, I mean, and I don't mean what's going on now. Like, you started Melissa's Old Nose, obviously. Like, it was like a pro Teresa account, right? Like back when you started it.
Yeah, so somebody put the thing out there that I had posted a video of Melissa and I said superstar. That was that was like such shade. That was sarcasm. I was actually insulting Melissa because I thought the audio of her live recording was terrible. And someone put the rumor out there that I was first a Melissa Gorga account, stan account. And I mean, that doesn't make sense because my name's Melissa's Old Nose. So that's an insult to the girl, number one. And number two, no, I threw that out there. I mean, they've tried to flip the narrative against me so many different ways. Like, the fact that they've said I started off as a Melissa Gorga fan, that's just such a lie because I have done nothing but shade that girl and her entire family. It's so horrible and in the most disgusting of ways. But no, I always was a tree hugger. From the get-go, I wasn't really much into Jennifer, and she grew on me. But I began on Twitter, Melissa's Old Nose, in June of 2022 as a tree hugger. And right off the bat, I was snarky. I was throwing shade. I was pointing out the Gorga feud. And, as all tree huggers do, I was just doing my own thing. And then in the fall of 2022, that's when I started DMing with Jennifer from like early fall, I guess, to October. But it wasn't until October that I got that first DM from her where she was like, hey, I have some BravoCon tea /shade. And from there it began. The tweeting for them began at that moment when she slipped into the DM in that way.
So that's how it's so like right. So you were pro Teresa, you were a tree hugger, hence the name Melissa Zoll Knows. You were posting all sorts of positive stuff about Teresa, maybe some anti-Melissa stuff. And then so Jennifer was really the point of entry. She really kind of slipped into your DMs and said,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah. Cause I was sending her stuff like, I was making like fan art and good posts for them and stuff, calling them the dream team, praising them. And then it in early fall, we were starting to chat, but it wasn't until October.
It was October 2023?
No, October 2022.
2022 that she slipped into your DMs and said, I have BravoCon tea.
Yeah, because prior to that, like in early fall
because Jennifer, like I've been telling y'all, is the mascot. She does whatever Teresa tells her to do. She's the front man, and Teresa plays the background, so she could act like she don't know what's going on and play innocent.
2022, I was just sending her stuff that I was making for her and Teresa, pro them tweets. And then it was October of 2022 that boom, hey, I have some shade for you, some tea. And then it started from there.
And so she gave it to you and then you put it out. And then what? Like Jennifer then kept saying like, hey, I have something else for you. I have something else for you. It was just like,
yeah, from there on, it was like the rest is history. It was just like, hey, I got the scoop. I got tea. In other words, hey, let me give you this so you can stick it out there for me since I can't tweet against my castmates. And then it was suggested that I create a Twitter with
guys. So they have a clause in their contract that they can't tweet against each other, the ladies, which I feel like that needs to be just for all reality shows in general. I think that there needs to be a clause in their contract that they can only promote the show. All the Twitter back and forth with fans and each other, I think that that should be cut out because it's ruining these reality shows. It really, truly is. So I think that's a good clause that Bravo put in their contracts. But as you can see, they're using it now. Since we can't do it, then we'll use bloggers to do our dirty work for us. So it's always like a caveat to it where you can get around, the clause. But I still feel like there's something that should be in effect for all reality shows.
Instagram, which I did. I made a Instagram and then it was Love, Love, Love Gabriella. And I headed over there and within 1 week, I think it was probably even like 3 days, Teresa Guidice was in my DM. And actually, when she came into my DM, she was like, oh, hi, honey. Jennifer sent me this video. Thank you for your support. And then from that moment on, I got her phone number. And then mine and Teresa's relationship actually began in regards to Vanessa Reiser. What we began discussing when we were on the telephone from the get, Teresa and I, was Vanessa Reiser. She began to tell me how Vanessa was spreading all these rumors about Louis, how it really bothered her. I remember telling her, I noticed under several people had sent me stuff in regards to Vanessa Reiser. But I mean, I had told her we were already, me and my friends, discussing Vanessa Reiser because it was already out there that this was his ex and she was saying stuff about him. But anyway, in November of 2022, I remember I made Teresa aware that there was a post where Jennifer Aydin and Teresa and Louis went to some shelter for Thanksgiving to, do some charity work. And Vanessa was under Jennifer's post commenting. And I remember I pointed that out. And from the get, like Teresa just had to add Jim on the phone call. And then we were discussing things. So from that moment on, they were like, pretty much, you got to stalk the stalker. We got to keep an eye on this girl. We got to know what she's doing on social media because she's so-called hurting this family. And I remember on January 27th of 2023, Teresa texted me this huge, huge essay of a letter that Louis submitted to the board that oversees Vanessa's therapist license, because at that point, they were trying to come for her license and take it from her. And it was
wow. See, this is when this stuff go too far. Like, what be wrong with y'all people? Y'all be really letting fame go to y'all head where y'all think y'all got and can mess with people's livelihoods and their family and just start doing devilish stuff to people. Like, why would you try to do that to that girl? That's so weird. And just downright nasty and wrong. And this is why I have such contempt for Teresa and Jennifer. Because like I said, it goes beyond just reality show shade with these two and others. Like, this is just disgusting.
Like, shortly after that, Teresa told me that they hired, I remember she's like, do you know who Bo Dietl is? This is early 2023. She's like, do you know who he is? And I was like, no, because I didn't know who the guy was. And she's like, oh, well, he's just like this really good investigator. Louis hired him. And we're having girls act like they're clients so that we can spy on Vanessa because we want to see if she's going to say anything about Louis. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like, this girl must be trouble if you guys are going to this extent. And she's like, no, Gabriella, you don't understand. She's trouble. Like, we got to get stuff on her. So I knew about Bo Dietl in the early part of 2023 because Teresa was discussing him, how they were putting people in her office.
Wow.
I mean, wow.
I don't know at the time if they had stuck them in her practice or not, or if they were planning on it. But this was in her practice or not, or if they were planning on it. But this was, I mean, the very first thing she sent me in regards to what they were doing to Vanessa was, and I have the text message, I will show you. No problem. I can send that to you when we're done recording. January 27th, she sent me this ginormous letter, and it's very disturbing, David. You're a lawyer. I'm going to send it to you because I want you to look it over. It's intense. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people are like, why is this girl talking? Why is she so hateful? Why is she coming out and saying anything? It's like, guys, I hate nobody. If anything, I'm so disturbed. I feel convicted that I was a part of something that extended outside of the realm of Real Housewives of New Jersey. This was stuff that this camp was doing outside of the show to people that had nothing to do with the show, Vanessa being one of them. Hiring people, coming for people. They were coming for her license. Like, they were involved in such deep, dark things, David. Like, I almost want to say some of it could have been criminal. And in the end of it all, like, when I finally stepped away from it in the beginning of this year, it wasn't until then that I realized, like, this is some really heavy shit. I don't want a part of this. I was convicted. I felt disgusted. I wanted to step away, and I did. I mean, and I know the camp's going to blame everybody, you know, in every which way as to why I'm doing this and how it all came to be. But the reality is, even from the beginning, I started seeing red flags all over the damn place, especially in regards to Vanessa Reiser. Not Vanessa being the red flag, but what Louis and Teresa were doing behind the scenes to this woman.
Well, that's the thing, you know, that's like what you said, like, it is off the show. That's why I really don't talk a lot about this type of stuff because I'm not even sure if everyone's really up on it. You know what I mean? Now it's like it is having a moment. Like, Teresa's being asked about it in interviews. Margaret, Melissa's bringing it up. But, you know, like, I think there's just a lot of people that watch the show that don't even really know that all this is going on. So, like, just to go back for a minute, I mean, that's all shocking. And I have a lot to say about Vanessa. But, like, as a fan account and then Jennifer's in your DMs, that's one thing. But, you know, the queen of New Jersey, as everyone says, Teresa, like, I mean, what was going through your mind when, like, Teresa originally reached out? Like, there's a lot of people listening to this that are fans of the shows that would fall on the floor if Teresa Guidice reached out to them.
I remember when she first called me and she's like, hello. And I was like, I mean, I was screaming. I was like, oh my God, this is so surreal. This is crazy. Like, I've been watching you since season 1. I told her I totally relate to you. You know, I took such good care of my parents. You're first generation. Like, your parents were off the boat. So were mine. Like, you know, there was a lot that I related to. And I mean, she really wasted no time. Boom. She hit the ground running in regards to, hey, honey, so Vanessa's really hurting my family. And then from there it took off. But I was excited. I watched her on TV. I really genuinely cared about her, you know? And I see now, like, it's so sad when people attack me, like people who I thought were my friends or acquaintances online. It's so crazy when I see them attacking me over Teresa because I'm speaking the truth. And I just think in the back of my head, like, listen, guys, I felt loved and special, like, in her eyes as well. Like, I get why you guys are coming for me because you guys really do feel like, oh my God, she loves her fans. Like, we connected with her over TV and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if they got to know the real her, they would not be a fan. I mean, I remember her telling me she hated doing meet and greets because she personally believes that she picks up their energy, like their vibe. And it was always very draining. She said she gets headaches. She's like, I don't know. People just like bring me the bad juju. Like I can get like so much anxiety after I leave. A lot of people stink. I don't really like them touching me. And I just thought if people really knew all of this, they wouldn't, hold her on that pedestal the way they do.
And see, this is what goes back to just celebrity culture with fans and how hard they go for their faves. Like, people are absolutely nuts. Like when I just did the video the other day on Cardi B and Bia, and to see grown women in the live chat, in the comment section, going off and dogging Cardi or dogging Bia like they family members or like they besties is just so idiotic and weird to me. Now, y'all know I am a Beyonce stan, but you will never catch me arguing with folks over no dang on Beyonce. It's just not going to happen. Like, stan culture is absolutely insane. And so when these people get to meet these idols of theirs and they get sucked into their world and all of the stuff that they got going on, and y'all get to doing all this weirdo stuff along with them, it's like they feed off these housewives, real housewives, these women, that's on the internet all dang on day, probably ain't got no man. If they do got a man, he ain't paying no attention to them. Like, they feed off of you weirdo, insecure, low self-esteem having women, because it's obvious, like, why she ain't showing her face, why she ain't on camera. Like, people just need to really get it together. And I also want to say, before we continue on, this is the reason why we're not getting a reunion, because of all of this stuff. They don't want to address this stuff on camera, because then they will have no choice not to work with Teresa ever again. Bravo already knows about all of this, the receipts, the emails, and everything that has been put out there. And much like what happened with New York, with Ramona and the racist allegations that they did not want to face on camera, they're doing the same thing with Teresa. And I would not be surprised if she is put on hiatus, pause, whatever, but she does need to be fired. Her and Jennifer Aydin need to be fired after all of this stuff that has come out, because y'all up here trying to get people's licenses taken away. Like, that is insanity. And there's no room for mess like that. And unless Bravo want to get sued too, along with them, for allowing this type of behavior to go along, then keep Teresa on the payroll all y'all want to. Go ahead. But I think that this will be her rude awakening to know that you're dispensable, just like Ramona, Nene, and the rest.
It was just so crazy to me that people I developed relationships with were like now attacking me because I'm speaking the truth. It's like, guys, believe me, I was a total fan at one point. I loved the lady. I was like worshiping her at one point. I was calling her the queen. And now that I'm at the end of my road with her and I see her for who she is, I'm disgusted. And again, it steps outside of the realm of Real Housewives of New Jersey. The stuff these people are involved in, the operation, it's so dark and deep. And, people say the devil works hard, but no, these people work harder. It's so insane. But I was just such a fangirl in the beginning of it all. And I'll be the first to admit it. But now I'm just like, I can't wait till I get all my receipts and everything out, because I'm so done with social media. Also, really quick, a lot of people tried to say that I wanted a podcast. Like, there's one platform out there who continuously pushed the narrative that I was jealous of her because she had a Patreon and she had a podcast, and she goes on her podcast and she's like, guys, if you want a podcast, I mean, we can help you. We don't know why you're so jealous. Listen, I've got a lot of tea here, David. I've got a lot of receipts. If I really wanted that podcast, that Patreon, if I really wanted to collect on all of this, I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be talking to the other people. I would be charging you guys for the tea the way that platform does,
And
so I'm not here for that. I'm not here for the bag, you know. I'm just here to clear my conscience, to let it all out, and to reveal the truth.
Well, first of all, I do podcast consulting on the weekends, and people pay me a pretty big fee every hour to help them with their podcast. Patreon is the dumbest thing. Yes, it's great. I make money on Patreon. It is such not the way to make money as a podcaster. So I laugh when I hear podcasters like that. There's a bunch of them that are like, Patreon. I'm like, that is the least bag of how you can make money as a podcaster. Call me, people, for consulting. I could make you a ton of money. But I agree with you. I mean, like what you said, I've been various degrees of friends with all these people. It is true. Like at the end of the day, they care about themselves. So everything you're saying about Teresa with like this person smells and get them away from me and why, none of that shocks me because I've heard it all before myself. Yeah. Like it doesn't. So, right. And it isn't almost an arrogance, like when Teresa calls you and then like, right, like you said, like that was one of my questions, like there's no middle ground, right? It's just like, honey, I need you to start doing all this stuff for me. And according to you, like it wasn't Melissa. It really was towards Vanessa, which I didn't know. I'm learning that here today because I would have thought it was towards Melissa. It's really that, you know, if Vanessa has a lawyer, they're going after her. It's really just like, we really need to take care of this and nip it in the bud is really, and like you said, it has nothing to do with the show.
No, that was her biggest concern. I mean, their biggest pet peeve. I mean, like what really irks them is what people think of Louis. Mm-hmm. That is her number one concern.
Yep.
She cannot stand when anybody, and I think that's why they hated Chrissy Balls so much, because she really did. She really went in on Louis. And I mean, can you blame her? There was so much tea out there, like legitimate tea that she was reporting on. But
and she's Louis another blogger for people. I mean, I know it sounds crazy to you, but like Chrissy Balls is another blogger, like for people who don't know who. Right. She has a lot to say about Louis and Teresa, and she's done a lot of research. And just for people that don't know, I mean, no insult to Chrissy. It just, you know, I always, if it's not on the TV, I feel like some people don't know. But right. So that was kind of where they started.
Yeah, there was no middle ground. It was, and you know, at the beginning, I remember like they really did waste no time. It was real cutthroat, like to the point. And I just thought, man, like, why are these girls like?
And that was just part one. I have another part where she reveals even more juicy details about Teresa and Jennifer. This whole thing is just trifling on so many levels. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section. Do you believe what this woman is saying? To me, she's telling the truth because, honey, everything sounds valid. Ain't no umming and ahhing and her speaking slowly. Like she is fast, concise, and to the point, honey. And it's just a shame. It really honestly is. It really truly is. So y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down below in the comment section. Please make sure to thumbs up this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so you know when my videos drop. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.